Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zachary, and today I want to be talking to you about the conservation of endangered species in a world dominated by humans. So, have you ever wondered what happens to endangered animals when they leave the safety of national parks or protected zones? Uh, for many species, survival now hinges not only on the health of wild life and the wilderness, but also on how well uh, they can get along with the farms, the roads, and the expanded cities which are made by humans. Today, I want to share with you why endangered species in a human dominated landscape is just essential to our growing life. I'm studying natural resource management at Angelo State University, uh, which is all about figuring out ways wildlife and humans can coexist um, to maintain a healthy and balanced habitat. So in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to kind of go through a couple different points. I'm going to talk about how humans um, threaten species outside of protected areas and outside of protected parks and things like that. I'm going to talk about methods for helping humans and wildlife coexist. I'm going to give a real world example of a time where people and wildlife did live side by side and worked in a balanced, coexisting way. And then I'm going to go over the challenges and the possibilities for future conservation. So, my first point I want to make is that humans are the greatest challenge endangered species face. Habitat destruction is the most obvious threat. Farming, urban expansion, roads, shrinking the space animals can be at, factories. They all uh, shrink the space that animals are able to live, and it doesn't just break off parts of the habitat, but it also prevents the animals from finding mates, reproducing, you know, making more life, and uh, obviously that won't be good because animals are going to go extinct if that continues to happen. Another issue is that human wildlife conflict. That human wildlife conflict where uh, you know animals are raiding crops, animals are killing livestock, wild wolves are killing sheep, and that frustrates humans. Obviously, sometimes you know a farmer may go out and kill a bunch of wolves because they murdered the farmer's sheep. Humans tend to retaliate against these animals, further pushing the extinction that will inevitably happen if we keep on going down that path. Um, and these challenges illustrate that conservation outside protective areas is a hard thing to achieve, but it is not hopeless. So, despite these things that are happening, these threats and these issues, there are a lot of innovative ways that we can help species survive in shared habitats. So, my second point I want to bring up is that one solution is the creation of wildlife corridors, which connect these fragmented habitats so that animals can safely navigate across roads and farmland and get where they need to go or where they choose to go. Another approach is the incentive-based conservation, where local communities benefit economically from protecting wildlife. Ecotourism, for example, is one of a big encouraging ways for people to act as a steward of their environment. And technology is also aiding conservation. There's GPSs and maps that are coming out that monitor systems which allow scientists to track animals and locate where they're going and their movements and their patterns, to make a more safer area for them. These strategies are not just, uh, you know, in theory. but they're actually being applied around the world successfully. So I think that's good to note. One example I want to give is Africa. Wildlife and humans tend to coexist there. Lions and elephants and communities um, tend to make reserves for these animals. They tend to make reserves. They make buffer zones, which allow local villages and local wildlife to coexist under very strict regulations. Even here in the U.S., solutions like wildlife overpasses in Wyoming and California allow deer and mountain lions to safely cross, highways, reduce human wildlife conflict, and these examples show the coexistence is possible and that it is happening. So, but even with these successes, there's challenges. There's emerging issues with that, and especially global environmental change. So the future of conservation is human landscapes. Climate change is pushing animals into new areas. It's making conservation planners consider larger ranges and more flexible strategies. Collaboration is also essential. Government scientists and local communities must work together to create long term solutions. Meaning that we need to all come together to play a crucial role in understanding that endangered animals are vital components of ecosystems rather than some nuisance, um, and this will make an attitude shift towards the coexistence becoming more achievable, right? So, to summarize it all up, we've seen that endangered animals they face many threats in human-dominated landscapes. We've also seen the successful strategies for letting these, wildlife and these humans coexist in the same spot. Wildlife corridors, ecotourism, buffer zones, highway overpasses, all of these ways are proven to protect species even outside national parks. The question now is, can we build a future where wildlife not only survive together, but thrive together? So, with collaboration, innovation, education, the answer is yes, we can. By looking beyond protected areas like parks and wildlife conservation zones, we can work outside of that and ensure that the species have a fighting chance and that our planet remains rich in biodiversity for generations to come. So, thank you all. Bye.